That report from DW's Charlotte Chelson-Pill, and she's standing by for us in Genoa. Hi, Charlotte. Rescue work continued for a second night. Is there still hope that anyone can still be found alive?
Hi, Sumi. Yes, rescue workers with the help of sniffer dogs have been combing through the wreckage that's just behind me for a second night. We've heard, though, that they've found no bodies, no survivors. This was an extremely fruitless search last night. We know that a number of people are still missing. One of the big issues, though, is it's not exactly clear how many. Authorities aren't certain, for example, how many cars were on the bridge at the time of the collapse. So it's possible that any number of people could still be buried in the wreckage behind me, and it's that that's motivating rescue workers to continue their search here. They've told us that they will keep looking until they are absolutely convinced that no one is still alive below us. Of course, though, as time goes on, it's becoming more and more likely that they will find bodies rather than survivors.
Charlotte, as we saw in your report, there's a lot of anger, and the Italian government looks set to revoke the highway operator's permit as well. What have some of the reactions been to that?
Well, the company itself has reacted to that. It's, as I've mentioned in the report, stated categorically that its maintenance checks were up to date. It's also pointed out that it hasn't been proven yet that it had any direct responsibility for the collapse of this bridge. It's also been pointed out that it's very complicated to revoke the license for this company, that the company would be entitled to some sort of compensation for breaking the contract. Now, people here are more than aware exactly how complicated the task ahead will be. They're very conscious that if the Autostrade isn't managing the bridge behind me, who will be? So there is no real appeasement for the anger here after this announcement by authorities. They know as well that this is going to be a very long process ahead when it comes to rebuilding the bridge that's collapsed. They know that this is a huge infrastructure here in Genoa, and it's not exactly clear what's going to happen to traffic, for example. That might not sound like a big issue, but this was vital for this city here, and it could lead to chaos for the months and the weeks ahead.
And what about for residents there, Charlotte? 12-month state of emergency has been put in place in the region. How are people there going to be affected?
Yeah, that's something that was requested by regional authorities here. Now, in practice, this state of emergency isn't like something that you may have heard of in France, for example, after the Paris terror attacks, where you saw military on the streets to deal with this crisis. This means in practice that more funding will be available to deal with the catastrophe. It's been announced that initially €5 million has been freed up to deal with what's ahead. It just means basically that authorities and the government can make decisions faster, because they know that there is a long road ahead to getting this city back into a state that's functional. For example, just below me on the bridge, it collapsed onto a recycling depot. Again, might seem like a small thing, but it means that the recycling in this city is going to be affected as well. There is still a very long process ahead.
All right, DW's Charlotte Chelson-Pill reporting for us from Genoa. Charlotte, thank you.